Hello, hello. Welcome, welcome.
You know what this is? This is Willy Wonka and the App Factory with the golden duck.
How's my mic volume? Is it good? I've been fiddling around with settings. I've probably broken something.
Yeah, what you say?
Is that too loud? I don't know. We'll figure it out. Right. Welcome to the show, everyone.
Can't hear you.
Oh, yeah. Right. All right. I guess we'll go and jump straight in and get on with the show.
Do this, don't do that. We're done.
Yeah. Right.
All right. A, don't be an idiot. B, be cool to each other. C, if you violate rule number 1, we will not only kick you out of here, we'll go running around and give your name to everybody else we know, and you'll be kicked out of there too. Don't think so? Ask the guys over in Discord. They hear from me every once in a while.
And then have a good time.
Yes,
there you
have
go.
fun.
Even better. So short, so quick. My name's Simon Lightfoot, Flutter Community Leader and CTO at Dev Angels London. And you can follow me on Twitter /X at Dev Angels London. Scott.
My name is Scott Stahl. I am also a Flutter Community Leader, one of, I don't know, what do we think, 2 dozen?
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah, I just don't want people thinking that we're the only ones. Believe me, there are Flutter community leaders all over the world.
And to be fair, like we've kind of established that just because we started it all up at the very beginning, it was like very early days, right? But then people like Majid, I'd say, is a community leader as well, and he came in essentially late in the game, right? So you know,
and there are people who predate us. I mean, Ahmed Abu al-Lahab, he ran the Flutter bus. Before we even got started. So there are, I mean, Pawan, also known now as CodePer. Yep. It used to be known as NTech Viral. Anyhow, community lead, Flutter, also organizer GDG Cleveland. I do a bunch of other stuff you don't really care about, but you should care about rescuing older dogs. That's the important one.
And Randall can't be with us today, so we're going to have to try and find your questions, keep them in order. And if you can don't they're both feeling unwell today. However, we do have a John. John, welcome to the stage.
Yeah, hey, how's it going?
We stole him from Microsoft this afternoon.
For a little bit, for a little bit. So been around here for quite a while. Been managing the Flutter community Medium, and you can catch me at John Weezy on Twitter X and many other places, and that's about it. Yeah,
I'm just gonna have to confirm something because I can't remember.
While Simon's doing that real quick, I just wanted to point out that when you have this in the bottom of the mug, it's called saving the best for last.
Okay. I did want to double check something here. The Flutter Europe, FlutterCon Europe happens in Berlin this year on 35th July. The call for paper is still open. it will end soon. You can go to that link that's on the screen there. You can also go to fluttercon.dev and use code Humpday25 to get 25% off tickets. So, yeah, if you want to join us all, and most of us will be there in Berlin, and the link is in the chat for those that want to submit a talk.
Not sure that I'm going to be there or not. I will hopefully either be there or in Stockholm in September. We're trying to figure that out.
That was my caveat. Most. Right. How's everyone doing?
Good. Yeah, busy.
Good.
I think everyone's been busy. It's been a week for me, for sure.
Yeah.
Been playing around with something you guys have seen, but it's not quite ready to be unveiled yet. But in essence, if you know remote Flutter widgets and you know Gemini, put the two of them together and have Gemini controlling your screen from afar. Now, I've got it working. The problem is I need to make sure it works correctly all the time. So we're not quite there yet.
The AI has a mind of its own.
Yeah.
That reminds me of the video I just saw of Atlas. I was showing the guys before the stream.
Can we show that one?
I'm not going to show it, but I'll tell you what I will do.
You throw the link out there.
I'll throw the link out there, and then that way people can go watch it. It's a 30-second video of the new Atlas robot. They've completely revamped it, and it's just in a nice way. It's cool and everything, but it's also slightly freaky.
You want to have like horror movie music going in the background when you watch this.
I mean, you know where the future is going to take us, right? We're all going to have those personalized robots. You can imagine going to a store and like just having these robots walking around and stuff, right?
Walking around, stocking the shelves.
Or would it be like, do you remember those like it was like style of the 90s, that the virtual boardroom people kind of thing, where you have like a screen on like a trolley or something, right? It's like no, the future will be you're controlling an actual walking robot with your face on it, you know?
Yeah, that was a Big Bang Theory episode, right? Right?
Sorry?
I said that was a Big Bang Theory episode, right? When he was sick and he had the robot going around and doing everything for him and his face on it.
See, and I'm sitting here thinking Peripheral.
As in what? What do you mean?
Are you familiar with the book or the show Peripheral?
No.
Short version, there are robots that people put on a VR headset and they control the robot.
Oh, okay.
And it's like actually being there.
What was that? Wasn't it a film?
It's an Amazon series right now.
No. What was that film with who's the guy who plays Die Hard? Oh my god. No.
Bruce Willis.
Bruce Willis. Yeah, it's a Bruce Willis film where surrogates.
Oh, yeah.
Where they're all like at home in a box and they control their surrogate around the world.
Yeah, Johan, that's what we're talking about. That's when you need the creepy music.
Yeah.
When he gets up.
Surrogates
gets up, and then his hips just turn around and walks towards the camera. Like, okay, human bodies don't do that. I mean, robots don't
just
have
waiting
to
to
do
see
that,
the feet go. Wow.
Right. Surrogates was a lot like was it The Matrix, right? It's supposed to be, your body's someplace else, and
I mean, it's that thing, right? But what is the body? But really, like, I mean, you think about it, right? It's really just the engine for your brain, right? To keep your brain going in a certain way. So it's like if you could just, that is the thing from Matrix. Like if you could replace all the signals going into your brain, you wouldn't know the difference.
Wait, you mean that's not where we are right now?
We could be. We might be in the Matrix.
Yeah. I did. It was Surrogates, 2009. If anyone was interested, that's a quite cool film.
Yeah.
Anyway, right. Let's move on. We just kind of normally chat at the beginning of the show for those that don't know, that are new here, just to kind of fill the time for questions to come in. And if we don't get any questions, we'll just start.
Yeah. We like to have guests. Normally it's introduction and little chit chat, and then guests, and talk about what the guests have, and then take Q&A. for the guests, and then take Q&A for everything else. Today, it's just kind of normal chit chat and then Q&A for everything else. So we're just, but unfortunately, I do want to bring something up. We've only got about 45 minutes because we all have places we need to be. So let me. Billy, I'm not sure what happened there. You got duplicated. I'm sure you didn't intentionally ask twice in less than a minute. I don't think so.
No, it looks like it's the same question.
It's a different question.
Oh, yeah, because the one says combine a set of URLs and one just says combine a URL. Removed and added.
Okay, so I'll tell you what, we'll use your second one.
The second one, yeah. Yep.
All right. We'll use the second one.
Yeah. So anyway. We could do a bit of coding as well. We got the Wow Shopping app. We could do some continuing bits on. Yeah.
Why don't you pull that up and we'll start answering questions at the same time then if we're going to try and get all that in.
Might as well.
How can we create a list view? How can we create a list view with a widget in between? And when the user scrolls, the widget in the middle should stick to the top and bottom.
I already did that, and it's in my gests.
Now,
there you go.
Yeah, you can pick any one in particular to stick, or is it just the top one for sticky headers?
Anything you like.
Okay, so basically you pick an index.
Goes back to like, I remember early on a lot of people trying to insert ads into a list view, right? Mm-hmm. Every 5th option or every 10th or whatever was an ad, but sticking it to the top and bottom, that's interesting.
Well, the other interesting thing too is, Simon, that was a long time ago.
No.
And
that's why people can go through my gests. It's all public.
Is it null safe?
Yes. No, it's not that old. It's like this year. What are you talking about? Like, it's a few weeks ago.
Okay, one other thing. I'll put yours up right now, but folks, when you are asking questions, keep in mind that if you don't put a Q there, we think you're talking to each other. Okay, because a lot of times people are bouncing questions back and forth off of each other. And Brendan, hello. You probably can't see all the questions on YouTube. It's my understanding that people on YouTube and Twitter and Twitch do not see each other's chats.
Yeah.
Most of the chat we're talking about is in YouTube.
Yeah. The other thing we didn't mention is URLs. Don't put a URL in your post because nobody sees it, not even us.
It won't
if you need to put a URL, go throw it out in a gist or something and give us the hash and we can go find it.
Mm-hmm. But that's if you just put in a URL, we won't ever see it. And if you put a Q in front of the question, we know it's for us.
Yep.
Because otherwise, like I said, there's a lot of crosstalk in chat.
Yeah. Did you find it, Simon? Johan saying that it was about 4 weeks ago.
Oh, yeah. I've gone way past that now. So I'm looking at the wrong place.
Oh, no. What Simon's talking about, I think you're talking about the old sticky headers gist, right?
No. This was recent. This was recent. I'm sure.
Okay. Different one.
Let me see if I just find it in my.
There are so many. All right. Next one, Johan, can you do push notifications? Yes. Go to pub.dev and look up push notifications.
Firebase messaging would be the best one.
Okay. So you can do it via Firebase messaging. Go ahead on pub.dev, look that up, and all kinds of good stuff there. All right. Billy and Frey, we're going to hang on for Simon for a second on that. currently learning Flutter for mobile development, bit worried about finding a job. Can you tell me about the outlook for Flutter in the United States? It's actually really good.
Yeah, getting better and better.
The main thing that I'm noticing is if you're not a corporate type person like me, who is not a corporate type person, the options can be a bit more limited. But if you are okay with working in larger organizations, such as banks, healthcare, things like that, large app shops, yeah, there's plenty out there. There really is. Go on LinkedIn. Make sure you put open to work on your profile, whatever it is, so you get the little circle with the green thing on there. And yeah, you should be hearing from recruiters. And honestly, I know dealing with recruiters can be a pain, but you know what? They get you work. And a lot of times that work pays better than work you'll go find yourself. So
I found it.
All right.
Let me see if I can run it now.
like I said, V, you didn't have to put this cue there this time. Whoop. Let me figure something out here. Cue continue.
Yeah, there's one right before it.
Okay, I
which is
see
the
it.
start of the question.
That's interesting.
So it's actually the two.
The first one didn't show up for me until just now.
Oh, strange.
Yeah, it.
Which way was this? Was this it?
Simon, we're falling behind. Come on, pick it up.
The cheek.
Okay, does anybody have any experience with a new? Okay, first of all,
yeah, this is it.
The new camera package. I don't know which the new camera package you're talking about. There are 20,000 packages now?
Yeah, it's some huge number. Way more than I can keep track of.
Okay, it was a little bit long ago. It was July 2023.
Well, that's only, 9 months ago?
Hey, the one I was thinking was 3 years ago.
Let's share this on the chat here. So, present. Why not?
Yeah, usually a lot of these problems that people have, what will happen is Simon will get curious about it, create a gist, throw the solution up in his gists, and then forget about it. And the rest of the world just doesn't know it's there.
Yeah, that's it. I need to start posting them on social media, but I forget. Anyway, right. So what you see on the left, so what we've got here is some scrolling boxes, right? So this is like your normal list. And then as I scroll up, you can see here, it reveals this box on the bottom. That's actually pinned to the bottom of the scroll. And as I scroll up, there it goes. And then there it is, gets pinned to the top. The text is jumping because I've asked it to jump, right? But the actual content does not. So it gets pinned and then it gets covered up. And there's a bunch of things like that you can do with slivers, right? Pretty cool, huh?
I think they might be wanting the bottom part to pass underneath, but then the question is, how do you get rid of it ever?
What do you mean? What do you mean bottom piece to pass underneath?
If you scroll up, it reveals it, right? Keep going, takes it up to the top.
Yeah.
And if you keep scrolling, the red could stay and the blue would go underneath.
Yeah, you can do that.
You see how you've got the blue over top? You can easily flip it and make the red over top. Of course, that could really annoy the user.
There's a ton of ways. That's how sticky headers works, right? I mean, like it's yes.
No, that is sticky headers. It does that.
But this, that terminology. There's actually some new. There's some new. Let me grab. Why is nothing simple? Right. First of all, that gist for this code is there. Do you remember the new Sliver widgets? You had Sliver main access group. This is one of the newer ones. I seem to remember they did some stuff.
Zoom it in, Simon.
Sorry?
Zoom it in.
Zoom it in. Zoom it in. And enhance. I seem to remember that sticky headers was now like basically built in, because you could do a main access group and inside that add like a what was it called? I can't remember now. Oh well. But yeah, Sliver persistent header. So you could actually add a Sliver header in a Sliver main access group, and then it would persist in that group. You could then still scroll. And there's a bunch of other really cool things you can now do with main access group and cross access group as well. Anyway.
Real quick, I hope I get the pronunciation of her name correctly, but Nahal, I imagine you've got a question in there somewhere, but that's a statement. You're telling us that you have to do something in order to see the correct one. But I don't understand what the question is.
So first of all, Impeller can't support complex UIs. Impeller can.
Yeah.
Impeller is the rendering engine. It's not anything to do with it. If you're getting problems with some complex UIs with Impeller, you should be reporting that. Like, make a bug ticket. Like, show that it works on one and not on the other, and it'll be fixed. But I've never, like, a lot of that literally has gone away now. Like that is, we're talking about over a year ago now, right? We started I feel like Impeller iOS, when it became the default, it was considered stable then, and then now got to wider audience and some bugs were being pushed, but within like a quarter, all those have been resolved. So I'm kind of, if you have got a bug that is relating to Impeller, report it on the Flutter GitHub repo.
Okay. All right. I'm hoping to add app features to combine a URL to an image and text, location, date, and notes to create a single graphic image. Any
I'm
advice?
They just want to draw the text on top of the image and make a single image from that. Does it need to be a single image, or can it just be a stack?
Right, but the point here is, okay, so Billy, you're trying to make an image, a single image as the output, and you know how you want to build it. Build your widgets, use the URLs to build your widgets, and then you wrap it in a repaint boundary, and a repaint boundary that should capture the context as a image. That's it.
Oh no! So they clarified. I see packages such as HTML editor, but that is to embed an editor into the app, looking to auto-generate a graphic. So basically, the user types in a URL and text and an image, and they want to create a new image from it.
That's why I said
repaint boundary.
Yeah,
repaint boundary.
Yep. Yeah, and then save it. Yeah.
Basically, it sounds like trying to make a meme generator. I'll be honest with you. But in that sense, that you're trying to embed metadata or extra stuff over the top of the image, and then have that image output as something that someone can save or download or send on or whatever. Yes, a repaint boundary.
Use the camera, take a picture of your in-laws, and then turn them into a meme. Oh, cool.
Yeah.
All right. Any experience with? I'm just trying to keep moving here because we do have limited time.
No, I did want to say that there is lots of, if you look up repaint boundary, it's not directly obvious. Like in the API, what you can do with it. But if you go look up some guides online, screenshot with repaint boundary, something like that, you'll find lots of examples of how to do that.
We've talked about it a couple of times over the last probably couple of months with people wanting to do screenshots and different things.
All righty. Any experience with a cloud Android emulator on which I can install an APK to have CI install a version on a device that can be interacted with via the Isn't this Code Magic bread and butter?
Nope. You want Jenny Cloud. I will put a link in. I'll put a link in the chat. Android as a service. There you go. So jennymotion.com.
Oh, Jennymotion with a cloud.
Yeah, they're basically, their product now is they run the emulators in the cloud. You can connect to them multiples of different ways, but you can also run them in your own cloud, GCP environment, stuff like that. And you can just spin that up when you require for CI purposes, and then do whatever tests or interactions you want to do, and then spin it down.
Simon.
Yes.
There we go.
No, I wasn't trying to share it.
Ah, okay.
No.
Next.
And Chithura, I'm like I said, we don't know which camera package you're talking about.
Yeah, if there's a specific package, then let us know. But
hey mate. What is this? This one?
Yeah, I wasn't going to put it up yet. I'm waiting for
the package
clarification.
It's called camera. That is the package.
The camera package is there one called?
There
camera?
is.
Yeah, that's the default. That's the default camera package. It's called camera.
Okay.
Yeah,
You
it's
can
the
tell
first
we
party.
anything with cameras. Oh yeah.
That's what to say.
Obviously, I haven't used one.
Do you want to show this
Zoom
one, Simon?
No.
It works as intended in Android, but in iOS, Zoom does not seem to work. Well, sounds like a bug that you should file.
So
Sounds like
what was the
an
question?
iOS
So
issue.
regarding the camera package, I've set the camera zoom to 2 and the camera initialization, and it works intended in Android, but iOS Zoom does not seem to work. Yeah, find a bug. I mean,
Yeah.
no, you can't do that on the camera image stream. Bless you, Scott. Camera for image comparison trigger video recording from that. No, you can't. So when a camera image stream is initiated on the camera plugin, you cannot take a bunch of the image functionality. Doesn't work, picture functionality, because of the way it functions and works. I won't go into it, but basically, I think they are looking into sorting it out. But it's a major rewrite of the way that the plugin works, essentially. So, yeah. If you're using an image stream, you don't get a bunch of functionality. It won't work. Not guaranteed on all platforms, basically. So you use the camera preview, like you would do, like then taking a photo, and then that functionality should continue to work. But I would find a bug, say explain what you're trying to do in detail with a code example, and they will try and fix it, right? Like they might be able to get Zoom working on iOS even when the image stream is going. But yeah.
Can you prevent people from doing screenshots and screen recordings on Flutter Web? In other words, DRM.
Well, Gerbs, you need to be a bit more clear. Again, it's this. It is again around the fact that what you're trying to say. You're asking, can you prevent screenshot? And the answer is no, you can't, because you're on a web page. You're not interacting with the operating system whatsoever, right? However, you can play video back with DRM. So, yeah, it depends on what you're trying to do, right? Because what happens with, let me explain. What happens with the DRM piece is that it actually essentially gets decoded at the last minute, right before display. That might even happen inside your monitor now. Like there's various mechanisms in play. But the point here is that even if they take a screen recording, the operating system knows that that area is secure video and puts a black square there, for example, right? Like you can't record it.
And that comes from the operating system, which that's another interesting thing we haven't brought up in a long time, like over a year. People need to remember what Flutter is and what Flutter is not. Flutter is not an operating system. Flutter does not work on that level. Flutter is a UI toolkit. It's used to display things. It just happens to have a lot of capabilities of doing things in the back end that you would not expect from a UI toolkit. And it can do so much that people keep forgetting it's not really handling everything. This isn't like programming on Android where you have access to the operating system directly. So if you want to do things like that, you need to reach into the underlying OS somewhere, somehow. I mean, however it's done in the web, that's probably the way to do it. And the other thing too is when you're doing Flutter web, you should be doing a web app, not a website, not a web page. And if you're doing a web app, then maybe you can drop it into something that you can then tell the web browser and the operating system that, hey, this is a protected area, show a black screen or show a black square.
So for those that haven't tried building web stuff, what you want to be using is the web package. This replaces Dart HTML.
How does this compare to Jasper, by the way?
I know this is not the same thing at all. This is a binder around the sort of browser APIs that you get given. So it used to be you do this with Dart HTML, and XZ is intended to replace Dart HTML. This is the one you want to use. So you can use basically all the JavaScript functionality you normally get, but directly with Dart interfaces, right? And probably what you'll find on here is, I don't know what the API is. Hang on. I do, but I've completely forgotten it. Encrypted media extensions, media encrypted event, media keys. I don't know. Does it have it? Let's have a look. Media key. Yeah, look, media keys. There you go. Media keys extension type for encrypted extensions. So create session, media session type, set server certificate. I'm sure you can go read up about it, but basically, if you can do it in standard JavaScript with the media extensions here, then you can just do it in Dart, right? That's it. Simple as that, really.
Yep.
Cool. All righty. So
I did find
Simon, did this link from John get shared on the Medium article?
No, not yet. I was just going to say I did find an article from about a year ago talking about how to prevent some of that stuff. So it might be worth looking at.
Okay, and we're going to have to cut off questions because we are short on time today. Oh, wow.
There's a bunch in there.
Yeah, I'm noticing this. There's a bunch that I had missed. Wow. Okay, we just added 5. We just basically more than doubled the list.
Well, a couple of them were pretty quick, so let's breeze through them.
All right.
We did that one.
So we just did that one. Let me drive. Flutter has a stepper widget that supports horizontal and vertical orientation. Horizontal orientation overflows the progress bar at the top with step names instead of scrolling. I can't even picture what.
You just don't need it. Like stepper is like, here's the material design way of going through some steps, but it's just a widget. Honestly, you can just build that widget yourself in no time. Stay for widget, whichever step I'm on, show that step.
Yeah, and if something's overflowing, then there's a good chance the problems with what's in the child.
Well, I think what's happening is, it's
when it's in horizontal, it will deal with it correctly. But when it's vertical, when you put the stepper in vertical, which is not a usual way to run it or whatever it is, it will overflow or whatever. I mean, the first thing I'd say is put it in a single chart scroll view and see if that solves your problem. But to be honest, if you get this thing, you can get. It's so easy with Flutter to get yourself wound up around. I'm using these material widgets. I'm trying to change the padding and the size and the shadow and the thing to get exactly the output I want. When what you should have been doing in the first place is just start a new widget, with a box with your color and a box decoration with your shadow, and you've done what you wanted to do, and you've now got a repeatable widget. You didn't have to worry about material design aesthetic, right? because what you're trying to do is try and manipulate material design to meet your requirements. It's no longer material design then, right? So it's that you have to think about. You spend a lot longer trying to do that than you would just do it yourself.
Yeah, and there's plenty of articles and stuff from over the years of people on how to build your own stepper type control. So.
Okay.
Probably some on the Medium, right? On the Flutter community Medium, which you should check out.
There are.
Oh, yes. All right. Can I utilize a Mac Mini M2 with 8 gig of RAM for app development beyond the moderate level? The 16 costs an additional 200, constrained by budget.
Sure.
You
can. An IDE is going to be a consideration, though. I mean, you don't want to use one of the bigger memory.
I'll be honest with you. 8 gigs plenty. I mean, when did we go to this? Like, I was developing on 256 megabytes of RAM. God damn it! Right.
Well, yeah, but you weren't using IntelliJ or
64K.
I was going to say hell 64K, right? But I remember like.
Well, and the other thing too, though, the way I look at it, I mean, if you're going to spend money on a development machine, I don't like Apple, and I'm not trying to bash them, but the fact is, when you hold up the processing power you can get per dollar on Apple versus Windows or versus PC, there is no comparison. I've got 32 gig of DDR5 with an RTX 4070 and an i9 13th generation, and I got it for less than $2,000, which smokes my 2 Mac Minis.
Sure. But the point here is about budget, right? The fact is, they're saying it's going to cost.
But what I'm saying is that for $800 total, you could have the entire computer that's more powerful than that on a PC.
I mean, I don't know. I haven't looked at the most recent Mac Mini prices and what the 8 gigabyte is, but I thought they were very competitive at the time. But I don't know. I'm looking at that. Like okay in the UK. That's £650 for the M2 8 gigabyte and 256 gig storage.
Wow.
I mean, you'd be hard pushed to get something
for how much?
650. No, we're not here to like this, but yes, in short, in short, yes, 8 gigabytes. That's fine for development. Obviously, if it, the point here is that if you're trying to develop iOS, you have to use an iOS Mac Mini. Full stop.
Right.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter. We're talking about all this stuff. I mean, I have a PC and a Mac Mini for this exact reason, right? And so do a lot of other developers, or they run on a Mac only system and then they do both, right? But
I mean, yeah, you definitely can get a bigger Windows laptop for a lot less, but Simon's point, if you need to do Apple, if that's your main machine for building for iOS and submitting to the app store and all that stuff, then yeah, you need a Mac. So.
Yeah. Okay.
Let me see something here.
Right. Are you trying to look up a PC build?
No, I'm looking to see. There were 12 questions in the main one. Oh, the M2. Okay, 8 gig is fine. It's the No, the M2 is actually is a pretty good processor, actually.
Yeah.
No, I have no trouble with Apple's CPUs. It's the rest of it that I hate.
To be honest, the 8 gigabytes is fine. I mean, you're going to use probably
right. No, he was just worried about the M2.
This was a different person. Yes.
Oh,
the original question was about the Mac Mini M2 as well, which is fine. But the point here is the RAM, right? So you open up a couple of dozen Chrome tabs, and you've got your IDE running, and you're trying to run the emulator. You're not gonna get that going. That's gonna max out your machine right there. But you use an actual device instead of an emulator, that would save you quite a bit, right? You instead of losing like 2 gig on a 2 gig of RAM on your VM, you've got that back.
Yeah,
and that would make the difference.
Yep.
I mean, if it were me, I would just use a physical device.
Right.
Especially if
Next
resources
question.
are that constrained.
Yep. Next.
All right. Next. See this one. In my list view, it has 2 form fields followed by some other widgets. When I tap my first form field, I need to ensure all the text fields should be visible. Okay, what's it doing now?
No. What happens is let's say you've got 2 text fields and they're near the bottom of the screen, right? Both off the bottom of the screen. You move it up so one's visible. When we tap on the first one, he wants both to become visible, right?
Yep.
So the way you do this,
wait a minute. Wait, I was thinking that they were talking about at the top and the list view was scrolling. So this is why we need more clear questions.
Well, either way, it's the same difference.
Is this being covered by the keyboard?
Either way, the API actually gives you a feature for this. So it's called Ensure Visible. And it's on scrollable. The way you do it, we could do a quick code example actually, but you do scrollable.of context, ensure visible, and you pass it a context. And that context is the one that surrounds, and that basically is a widget that surrounds all of your text fields. And they will try and ensure that that widget is wholly visible on the screen. That's it. So, yeah, obviously you want to trigger that ensure visible when the focus is received. So on your focus handlers, have it call up to the sort of group widget that you've got and ensure it's visible. That's it. You're done. We can show it in a minute if you want.
All right.
Next.
You know, somebody's asking about the GStreamer API.
Yep. What about it?
I went and looked it up. I'm just like,
yep.
Again, Flutter's a UI toolkit. Be careful thinking that it's going to be able to do all kinds of sick under the hood stuff, which you might be able to make it do, but only because it's overpowered in that department.
Right. Where was what?
Can you use the GStream API to create a screen sharing web app in Flutter?
That's a good question.
I don't know. The thing is, I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, I don't think GStreamer's got much of anything to do with it. It would be just as good or bad as anything else.
There's no reason why you can't. There's no reason why you couldn't do that. I mean, I'm not sure. GStream. I mean, that's not GStreamer. GStreamer.
Well, yeah, I'm looking at GStreamer. That's what I was thinking that they were talking about.
I think Pandy, you want to just clarify what you're using?
Yeah.
GStreamer is an open source media framework, and you could. There's plenty of packages and plugins and all sorts that work with that, and there's no reason why you couldn't create a socket, like a socket connection from your browser and share the data stream over it and display it. So what you're asking for to do, which is basically allowing users to share their screens to other users through a web page, you can do that. It's already been done by lots of websites. Whether you can do it with your GStream API, that's needs clarification because it depends on what that GStream API is. I've not even a simple Google has not given me the information I need.
And everybody who asked a question above the no more questions, I did get you in the list. So, but from here on, because we've got 12 minutes to do 6 questions. You know the last time Simon averaged 2 minutes a question?
Well, you're talking.
Never.
That's the next question. Come on.
All right.
How to give a dynamic width for grid view children based on content.
You don't.
No, not with a grid view.
No.
You don't need to though. So if you we actually did cover this in previous shows. You just need to use a sliver. What's it called? You do a
Sliver grid view?
Sliver main axis group and sliver cross axis group together to do a grid view, and then you can have whatever sort of chart size you want. We actually did one. We had boxes, didn't we? What was that one we had? Like
I think so.
Various size boxes. Let's see if I can find it. Apparently, I use placeholder way too much in my examples because it's like
that's what it's for. It's for holding the place of something that you can put in later.
Yep.
I found it. So I can run it up. And then I'll find the gist for you.
And a real quick one here while we're doing this. How can I best prepare for a Flutter junior role? Blah, blah, blah. This is a really, really old question that we get a lot. So let me pull up. There are several answers nowadays, but I personally still like this one.
No,
this is from Alexi. So, yeah, Dio, that one's for you. Whoops, we lost John.
Right.
Simon, somebody's asking you to type the name of the sliver widget you were just talking about.
Yeah.
Welcome back, John.
Welcome back. Yeah. Roadmap.sh/Flutter is another one.
Swindler, we cut off questions a little while ago. We're still trying to knock out the last ones here before the top of the hour. Sorry.
We'll see if we can carry on for a bit though, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so that's right there. How to give dynamic width for grid view children based on content. We're already doing that one right now, right? Right. Yeah, sorry about that, man. We'll see. We're actually moving pretty quick.
Well, let's carry on.
Which AI code assist tool is best trained for Dart Flutter, Codium Copilot? At the moment, as far as I know, none of them. I've played around a bit. The closest thing I can find is Gemini, but even then, it's certainly not infallible. I'm working on something for fun that kind of has that capability. I was just showing Simon and John in the background here before we started, but it's not ready for showing anybody yet. In short, I'm using remote Flutter widgets combined with Gemini. You tell Gemini what you want, it sends RFW text back. And I know using the text for RFW is a slower way, but you can't really use the binary code when you're coming from Gemini. But Gemini will sit there and combine widgets together the way you tell it, and then it changes your screen. And I just keep playing around with it until I get what I want, until I keep describing it until it change this, change that. Then when it finally gets what I want, I say, okay, now if I want to use this in a widget, what's that code going to look like? And it spits out the code. But it takes a lot of, no, that's wrong, change this. No, that's wrong, change that.
Oh, I'm searching the wrong folder.
A mail client app. Is there any recommendation for a good package to help with what part of it?
Yeah, there's
the UI, the back
mail
end
side, the UI. Yeah.
Right. So first of all, mail client. They're trying to receive emails.
Yeah.
I'm assuming receive and send, and yeah.
I mean,
trying to build Outlook.
No. But to be honest, you want to be following the protocols, right? So go read up about POP and SMTP and all the fun things, and then that's it.
Yep. I mean, if you're talking layout, there's samples out there of, the types of layouts that you would need for a mail client, but.
And Mohammed, again, just as we said to somebody else here a minute ago, we had to stop questions a little while ago. Now, clarification on this one, send and receive.
Yeah, well, you need to read the protocol, how it works, and implement it. There may be packages, but that can help.
Yeah, I don't know of any off the top of my head, but to be honest, you're asking for something very specific. So if there's not already a package that does one of those protocols that you need to use, again, you're looking for email client. There's lots of ways of sending email and receiving email, and lots of protocols around that. So you want to be looking at those things. Equally, you don't, for a commercial app, you definitely don't want to be accessing an email server directly. And what I mean is, if your app is an email client, then yes, of course, yes, you should. But if your app is not an email client, then you should be trying to send emails. For example, let's say you've got, I don't know, a chat service and you're trying to send someone an email or something. You don't do that from that client app. You do that from the server side.
Right.
Just to be clear. It's all around security and stuff like that. Also, anyway, I won't even go there. The email is just horrible. Trying to avoid it. Right.
Yeah, but maybe they're getting paid for it and they don't have a choice.
Right.
We all get hired to make apps that we look at and okay, fine. Apparently Simon wants to stay here by himself and keep answering questions, even though he told me he has to leave for a meeting.
On the next question.
You keep adding questions after I've told people no more.
Yeah, but
I'd say start with the docs. There's some good docs on building plugins.
Yeah, Flutter.dev has a great section. I will find the section for you. There's actually 2 sections. So platform integration. So write platform specific code.
I missed your mouth.
I cannot make that gesture on screen. Started to.
So writing custom platform specific code. This will be helpful. This explains the whole piece to you, like how it all works. I'll pop that link in the chat. There's also, and then you go into each different platforms and some various examples and other things. And then
if I remember right, there's a code lab even on creating a package or a plugin, I think, if I remember right.
Yeah. And there's a whole piece around the difference between packages and plugins and how you write them and what that is about in here as well. So I'll pop that in the chat as well. But yeah, if you're trying to write some platform specific behavior, you'll find it in here in platform integration. There you go.
See,
there is a section on FFI. Sorry, so you did say FFI, and that's on the Dart side of things. So the C interrupt section of the Dart SDK is what you're looking for. Dart documentation, there's space. And that links to the references and the examples, and there's more sections about how you do more stuff over here. So I think
Jeffrey, I'm trying to smack him about that.
Here's the new web.
The Sliver widget you mentioned.
Sliver main access group and Sliver cross access group. Basically, is row and column of the Sliver world, which lets you build grids, and then you can, essentially the old sizes required and recycle nicely and everything else. What?
My kingdom for an edit button.
Yeah, it's with a V, not a B.
Yeah. Sliver.
Oh, yeah. Right. Let's grab a couple last ones.
See, now here's the thing though, okay? We would have ended on time, but
Come on. We still end on time.
What's a clean way to implement analytics calls so it's not interwoven with UI business logic code?
Well,
that's the whole point of analytics.
I mean, how are you going to call? How are you going to do analytics if you're not putting it where you want it.
So, I mean, the point here is, you're talking about interwoven business logic. Wherever you need to call your analytics, you call it from wherever you are in the app, and you just need to be able to get to your analytics facade or interface or whatever it is that you're trying to work with, and you can use provider, Riverpod, whatever state management solution
and a lot
you
of
can
these things have to be called at the beginning of the build method or in the init state. Probably init state, probably better.
I mean, my guess is that they're trying to, minimize the amount of code that's interwoven. So if you've got a class that handles the logging for you, right, then you can make it a simple one line. Here's what you want to log, and it's not, a ton of code interwoven in the business logic.
I've never once written an application where analytics code is not interwoven into the rest of the UI.
Yeah,
and all across the app.
At least a call, at least calling something that's going to log.
It's going to be a call with some parameters, and then it doesn't actually do the network call.
Here, though, when I scratch below the paint of this, what I see is the old guideline of not mixing any UI or business logic, which we used to tease about this. Fortunately or unfortunately, Flutter actually does intermingle some business logic with UI. You try to keep it down to something reasonable, but a lot of times your logic has to be there in the widget, and a lot of times you're using ternaries to make decisions in the middle of the UI tree. You can use flow control to conditionally add widgets or loops in the middle of lists. You can do loops in maps the same way you do them in lists. So, and because the UIs are actually often using lists, you can use for loops and if statements in the middle of the UI in order to conditionally, or dynamically create your UI, which is a great thing to be able to do, but it does kind of make a mockery of the separation.
No, it doesn't. No.
Yeah.
It's not business logic. It's control flow. It's totally separate. The point here is your stuff for building UIs over here, and your stuff for actually managing state is over there. And the idea is to keep those two things separate. Now, there's certain things like, for example, you want to keep state about your UI, and that should be in the UI. There's a whole piece around state management that covers this, the idea of having sort of your app state and your what do they call it, ephemeral state, right? But yeah, anyway, but when it comes to yes, I was thinking something like mixins. Yeah, I mean, exactly. Like you have a mixin that you could put on state, and then whatever widget you're in, where you have your state, you can then call a function called record analytic with 3 parameters, right? And you pass the action name of 3 parameters. You can use that across your application, sure. But that's just providing a little piece of code that actually goes off and, does that. You can also do it with extensions, even better, right? No need for mixing, because it is just a static function. You're providing some parameters and off it goes. So, yeah. I mean, I think we
can. Again, how to do things with an app when it's terminated.
How to show count received notification in home screen when the app is in the background or terminated with Firebase messaging. It has a count parameter. There you go.
Yeah.
Read the docs. When you send a message, you can send there's an Android section, and you can specify extra fields, and there's an iOS section where you can specify extra fields. And in those fields, there's count.
Right, but I think what he's talking about is if you get a notification, but the app is, if the app's running in the background, you should be able to increment the count. But what if you get a notification and the app's not running?
Right, but it's an app. Whoa.
Yeah.
Well,
go on.
And how would you do that?
No, but the point is, you've got Firebase Messaging, you've got on chat background, or Starper and Iceland. You can do whatever logic you want. I think the problem here is you've got how to show count received notification in home screen. Like, I'm assuming you mean on a notification. I mean, you can do that in the text of the notification. You can just change that yourself. Perhaps you'd be a little bit more clear, Mohammed, as to what you're trying to achieve. But by default, iOS, for example, shows a little count of how many notifications an app has on the icon and in the notifications. that is built into the notification system. Same for Android. Depends on the version of Android and what device you're on, if it shows a number or just a dot. That's it. The idea is, you work to the system, right? So you try and keeping what the system asks for, and therefore the user expects.
I hear you.
When Android first came out, there was apps doing all sorts of. There was no guidelines. It was every app. It was like a Wild West, and every person was doing. Every app would be different to each other, and it would be very confusing as to what to expect. And as the platform matured, they've got some semblance of expectation. Not to say you can't go put a count. For example, you can actually, there's some tricky things that apps do that let you you can actually replace your app icon on the fly during runtime and put a little different count on it. I mean, making life hard, but you can do that. Yeah.
All righty. And that was pretty much the last one for this week.
What was that?
John, you need to drop. I know I need to drop. And Simon, I think you're late.
Oh, I thought we were going to do some coding. Oh, okay.
Okay, I thought you had a meeting, but
yeah. I'm going to stick around if one of you guys stick around. So if you've both got to go, then we'll end it early.
Yeah, I gotta get. Unfortunately, I got a pile of stuff I got to do.
Yep. And I've got to run for a meeting.
Right. Well, nice having you, John, and see you again next week.
And also, one other thing to keep in mind is hopefully we'll be able to see a bunch of you at I/O.
Yes.
I do understand the people in Europe are going to go to a watch party in Berlin. Very sad to hear that because I was really looking forward to seeing a lot of you. But yeah, I think I'm going to be able to be there. I think Simon's going to make the swim.
Cover me in lard and let me swim through the ocean, right?
That's it.
All right.
He's practicing by swimming the channel every day.
Sure. I've seen some of those ships in you've seen videos where the ships have got like 100-foot waves and something stupid like that. You're like, oh my God.
I was in the Navy. Don't remind me.
Right. Well, we'll see you all same time, same place next week.
And who knows? Maybe I will have my app running by that point, and I'll be sitting back like this, letting Gemini write all my code.
Cool. Go for then. Right.
All righty.
Yep. Great having you on the show, everyone.
And you all take care, and we will see you next time.
See you then. Bye.